Good morning. Been a while since I've been up this early. It's summer vacation. Why would I get up early? Oh, it's beautiful flying weather, that's why. So as you remember from the last video, the Beaver, she's not in good repair, although that's what it would look like if it had retracts, right? You could just kind of get rid of that nose wheel there. There you go. Retracts on the Beaver. Nice. I got the new hover mode installed. Or I'm hanging it from the ceiling. One or the other. Anyway, the Beaver's all jacked up. I'm working on acquiring parts and stuff to rebuild that landing gear, and I'm gonna beef up the other side too, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. You can check my previous video on the same channel here if you want to see what happened to that if you're new here. The Quicksilver is a plane I haven't flown for a while. It is still currently for sale, FYI, but seeing as it hasn't sold yet, it's my backup. One of the complaints that I have with the Quicksilver is the nose gear does not steer very well. There's typically a spring between here and here, and then of course the same on the other side. But these are connected directly to the rudder pedal, and that's all the throw you have. So the nose wheel only steers about that much in either direction, which is kind of ridiculous. If I had differential braking, I could put the brakes on, and then because of the springs it would go a little further, but it doesn't have differential braking. So I've flown airplanes with free castering nose wheels before. Why wouldn't this work? Why can't I just take the springs out and just let the nose wheel free caster? Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you don't have differential brakes. How are you going to steer? Well, my plane, the Beaver, used to have a fixed nose wheel. It didn't steer at all. It didn't even free caster. It did nothing. It was just fixed. And the way you steered was you would put some up elevator in with the stick, and that deflected the propeller blast up, which forced the tail down, which took the weight off the nose wheel, and then you would use your rudder pedals, and the rudder pedals would deflect the propeller blast left and right, which would allow you to steer the plane. So even with a fixed nose wheel, you can steer very effectively with a pusher-style airplane simply by redirecting the rudder blast. The rudder blast? No, the propeller blast. Well, this Quicksilver is also a pusher, and it has a pretty decent-sized rudder, so why wouldn't that work? I don't know why it wouldn't work, so you know what? I'm going to go test it out. If it works well, I'll go flying. If it doesn't work well, back to the drawing board, see if I can figure out how to make that nose wheel turn a little bit sharper. There is the risk of shimmying. We'll see what happens. Wouldn't be the first time I've been in a plane with a shimmying nose wheel. Cessna, Cessna. Okay, so let's pull this out, put some fuel in it, and see what happens.
That should be that. Let's turn you about there. And let's go flying. How do I get in this thing again? This way, I think. As you can see, we have a bit of fog on the windshield. I'm not going to take off with that in place, obviously. I think as soon as I start moving, get some wind on the windshield, it should burn off. But at this point, I don't even know if I'm flying yet. I'm just taxi testing the nose wheel. There. Alright. Let's see if this thing even starts. Throttle idle. Choke engaged. Clear! Almost. Well, while I just have some taxiing power thrust here, let's see if it'll even... Look at that. It steers. Now, if I slow right down, look, I put the brakes on. I do need a little bit of speed to get going. Okay, it doesn't want to go right. I suppose any amount of wind, too, would make it not want to... And also, I'm thinking the slipstream of the prop. Yeah, look at that. That brings it right around. And that's the way the slipstream's hitting the prop anyway. So it's going to turn left really good. It's not going to turn right really good. Now, if I bring some power up... I can get it to turn. It's a bit of a hassle, but that, believe it or not, that's actually tighter turning than it was with the steering mechanism engaged. Probably shouldn't go this way too far. I can't see nothing. Be ashamed to run into Vicky's Beaver there. This doesn't seem like this that big of a deal. I think I can handle this. The trick is going to be, does it shimmy? So this oil pressure gauge is erratic. So if you notice that all of a sudden drop to 0 while I'm flying, that's a gauge issue. When I play with the wires, it either falls off to 0 or comes up and reads properly. So there's an issue with the gauge. I checked the oil. It's got lots of oil. It's a brand new oil pump, brand new engine basically. So I'm not really concerned if that all of a sudden drops to 0. That being said, I'm not going to be going too far from the airport until I get that gauge either replaced or fixed. So yeah, because it turns left real well, I'm going to go to the right side of the runway. And this is going to be a nose wheel shimmying test. I'm not going to be going any faster than probably 30 miles an hour. Because my nose wheel really shouldn't be on the ground any faster than 30 miles an hour, because I should keep it on the mains until I get slower when I'm landing. So let's just do a little... I think I'm just going to let it taxi under idle thrust and see what it does. Yeah, oh, there we go. So that does not like that very much. There's 20, 25 right there. And if I pull back, I can stop it. There is 25 again. Put it down and put the brakes on right away. All my temperature is in the green. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to go for a low flight. We'll take off away from the fog, I guess. Pretty good. I mean, hands off in a climb. I can actually fly it with the trim, which is kind of cool. I'm not going to go too far. I'm just gonna go over these fields over here, I think. Just because I don't like that oil pressure gauge. I'm sure it's fine, but it just makes me a bit nervous. Well, let's go to 2,000 feet, I think. Look at that fog, that's pretty. Level off here. I forget what level looks like in this plane, so I guess we'll find out in a second. Bring the RPM back. We'll go, what, 4,500? So here we are, 4,500 RPM, 75 miles an hour indicated, 2,200 feet. Probably a little faster because I'm actually climbing. There we go. But yeah, it's a good 75 miles an hour. Needs a little bit of forward trim here. I'm not as comfortable in it yet as I am in the Beaver, but I think I could be. A little bit of practice. The other thing I need, bigger wheels. Those little tiny wheels on there, those are ridiculous. This is definitely a pavement princess at the moment. Wouldn't want to land anywhere other than the airport unless I absolutely had to. Let's see if I can fly it without the ailerons, just for fun. Alright, so right rudder. Right turn. Blur that back up. And left rudder. Left turn. Look at that, you can fly this thing like the old Quicksilvers, the MXs. They didn't have ailerons, they just had a rudder stick. That's for you, Dave. Going a little bit faster is kind of nice, but I don't have to fly faster. Let's bring it back to 4,000. There we go. Now if I wanted to fly Beaver speed, well, that's not quite Beaver speed, that's about Chinook speed and Hawk speed there. So let's bring it back to 38. So that's still, that's getting pretty close to the top end of Beaver speed. Let's go to 36. And I maintain altitude at 36 though, that's the trick. A little bit of up elevator in, up trim. There we go, so there's 55. This is Beaver speeds. And I'm maintaining altitude, and what do I got for control? It's alright. It's a little wallowy, but it's not terrible. I can put a notch of flaps in. Maybe even two. There, put in 2 notches of flaps. There's Beaver speed still. Can I still do a turn? Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely wallowy. I wouldn't want to play down low in the fields at this speed, but for like formation flying places and stuff. Let's go back and see if I can land this thing. Alright, let's see how well it glides. All the way back to idle. Hey Blair, when my 912 goes to idle, the engine doesn't shut off. Just thought I'd point that out to you. He'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this thing glides way better than the Beaver. I'm high. That's alright. I know how to fix that. A little bit of right rudder, a little bit of opposite aileron, do a little bit of a slippy slip. Now I gotta remember, keep that nose wheel off the ground until I get slow. Actually needed a little bit of power there. I don't want to get too slow yet. I'm not 100% sure of the stall speed yet on this, so there's the tail skid. Get that nose down. There we go. Oh yeah. Gotta be quick on the brakes. So, yeah, 360 camera just quit. I hope I caught the camera or the landing. Anyway, that's the next flight, I guess. So, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Oh, why was I looking at the 360 camera? It's turned off. Never said I was smart.